Okay, what we have here is this is your inlet where all your air comes into your machines. Now, each one of these containers, you have 3 of these pallets, and each one of these has the complete unit. So otherwise, this here is right over somewhere. There's a name here somewhere. It's over here. I'll find it on the other side. Yeah, there it is. Right there. And it says right machine. Now, these brackets here, there's 4 of these. There's 4 of these brackets, and it's going to take the 4 of those to go on to the top of this for your plexiglass. And I'll have a drawing that will show more of that. Now, if you notice that on the very end, the bottom unit has holes on the end, but the top does not. So what that means is that will go towards the center, because that actually has nuts in it. The center unit, and I'll show that in the video later, the center unit has no nuts to where the bolt goes through the hole and into that. That way it connects those together. Now this is the part that hooks to the unit. You have these bolt holes, and you have bolts that goes through those and into the unit. And this is the right unit, as indicated over there on that little sticker, and that will fit to the right machine. These pieces up on top here are the stiffeners for the plexiglass that fits into these pieces here. These are the frames that holds the plexiglass, and we'll cover that a little bit later. Now this side here, because we had to turn these over in order to stack them on top of each other, this is actually the bottom. This is where the leg fits into this socket. The leg fits into this socket. There's a adjustable leg on the bottom of that leg, or the adjustable foot on the bottom of that leg, and that way that will give you the adjustments that you need. This is the socket that holds the legs. These are the legs that we have that will fit onto these units. They'll be marked, and there's adjustable feet down there on the bottom. Okay, these are the 3 switch boxes. We've got this end of the box mounts to the machine. You have 4 holes here, and that mounts to the machine, and I'll show that later. Okay, you've got a sticker there that talks about incoming power, or if you do have a hot leg where one of your bolts or one of your legs has a higher bolt, shows you where to put that at. It talks about reversing the motor. These are the stickers that shows you where to bring your wires into. Okay, the other boxes are the same, so you mount them up just like what you mount these up. Now this is the box that mounts to the motor. These switches extend out over the intake so that you can reach them, and there's a leg on that. The leg underneath there, that leg right there has an adjustable foot, and that way that you can adjust that to hold this level, to hold that level. This is already wired up, so all you got to do is bolt it into there, and the machine has wires that mounts up into there. Now, this is the center machine. These are the center, because these have the holes. There is no nuts in here. All 6 of those. And that is the indicator that it is the center. The bolts go through there. Now, you have that hole there. That way you can get your hand inside there and put the bolt inside that. There's legs inside there. You'll have that plate is inside there. Now, this one here has the nuts here. So that means that there's one of these over here, one of these on this side mounts up to that. But if you notice, there is no holes on the end. So that means that was the very end of that. This is the center. There's wording right there that tells it that this is the left machine. So as you're facing the machine, the opening is over there. It's got the big slots in it. You can see them over there. That's the front. As you are facing that, the left is on your left and the right is on your right, and the center is, of course. Remember, the tops are upside down. So you'll have to flip that one over in order to bolt it to the machine. Again, these are your plexiglass tops that lean out over the top to deflect your air down into the front of it. We'll have a drawing for that. These are the filter units, and these are the big square holes on each side that those long openings bolt onto. The center unit, well, all the units have these have the legs with adjustable feet on the bottom of them. You will want to set the center one first and get it as level as you can. You don't waste a lot of time trying to get it just perfect, because once you set the right unit next to it and then the left unit next to it, you will see that you'll have to raise or lower one side. Now, a little bit of movement here moves the end of the 14-foot unit on each side a bunch. So you raise this side up a little bit, it raises the left side of the front a bunch, and it also lowers the other side. So you're going to have to work with that to get that leveled up and in line with each other. Very critical to line those things up. Okay, now this is the location of where your switch bolts to. That square tube will transfer into that. These will fit into your box, into the back of the box. They've got numbers on him right here that correlate with the numbers. You got numbers on the wires here that correlate with the numbers inside the box. You will bring your compressed air right into here. This is on top of the unit. You'll bring in 90 to 110 pounds, whatever your shop air runs. Okay, look into the top of the fan. Proper rotation. This is where the fan is at. Okay, you can see the fan. We also have an arrow there. And this arrow here. As you're hooking it up with electricity, make sure them rotations are running the proper direction. These are the hooks that you lift this unit up with your forklift. You got 2 in the back, 2 in the front. You'll probably just want to leave them on there, or if you do want to take them off, one screw right there. Back that screw off and this thing slides off. and then these are screwed onto the back. When you are setting this power unit on top of the filter unit, these holes line up. As you are lowering that with a forklift, take 2 or 3 Phillips screwdrivers, because the shank is usually round, and you can drop those screwdrivers right down in these holes, and as you slowly lower this unit to the top of the filter unit, you can guide and move this thing around as it's sitting on the forklift as you're coming down, and that way your holes will line up. Now, as you put your bolts in these holes, get all of your bolts in the holes before you tighten up one nut. Some people fail to know that if you tighten up one nut, you cannot move this thing if needed just a little bit. Very, very important. Do not tighten up one nut until you get all the bolts in the holes. This is the end where that sticker is at for the rotation. There's a big panel on this end. If for any reason that you would ever need to get into the fan compartment, this is what the panel you remove to get to the fan. Looking down inside the motor compartment, there's the motor, air tank, the valves. These are the valves that releases the contents of that tank instantly inside the filter. This valve releases it into this hose, and that hose back there that goes into the other filter. And then it fills back up with air, and then it will release. This valve will release, and then that one release. You have to let the air tank fill back up. The timers are set for that. This is a pressure relief valve. If this tank was to ever build up with more than 150 pounds, then this pops off. If you ever hear an air leak inside your machine, these are always the first thing you want to check. That's kind of the weakest link in the airline. This is where your air goes into, your compressed air. There's a little sticker right here. It says compressed air, bring in clean 100 to 140 psi of air. These are the lifting lugs that lifts up these machines. If you want to take these off, just take that screw off, and then these things slide out. There's a L-shaped bracket on the bottom, on two of these, on each one of those, and that's what lifts these things up. That is where your exhaust air comes out at. The exhaust air blows straight up, straight up. And that pretty well takes care of the insides of these things.